Alright everybody, Bailey's Homestead here. Yes, that is the horse trailer hooked up, and we are in town. The town of Richland, Missouri. I promised you all a trip down memory lane, and that is exactly what we're doing here today. This is the late home of my grandparents. God bless them, they have both been called home. Miss them dearly, but I got a lot of fond memories. This is a flowering. I think something over there flowered. I can't remember on that. That used to be another house sitting here. Unfortunately, my aunt bought it and had it tore down. And here I am 10 years later in a house that's in way worse shape, trying to fix it up. But anyway, the way the dice rolled for me. Now we've been summoned to try to help pick up some of the scrap metal. As you all know, we have quite a bit at the house that we need to haul off anyway, so I figured why not? We'll just add to it. There's just a little bit right here in this pile. Not sure how well y'all can see that. There we go. Now I can see what you're seeing. But there's not a whole lot there. Just a few bed frames and fencing and stuff like that. This is where Granddad had all his tools and machines and anything he could put in the shed, and unfortunately he never got around to being able to use the drill press and the table saw and all of that. And no, it's not a very big shed, but he planned on having power run out here and using that. And all this used to be cut down, cleared out, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get out here and do a whole lot with it. After Grandma got sick and he had to work all the time, and this garage has definitely seen better days, but he kept up with the roof on it and made sure it didn't leak. And now starting right here, right there, kind of, camera side of my finger, but just on the other side of this brush pile, all the way across here to just about where that brown grass stops. That was the upper garden. Planted a lot of squash, cucumbers, tomatoes. Oh goodness. We had strawberries that grew up here. What all did we plant up here? I think that was a lot of what we planted. Grandma did a lot of canning, so we had several rows of tomatoes, several rows of cucumbers, and then we had the squash plants, and everything was measured out and planted appropriately. And it was a lot of work. I spent a lot of time out here helping Grandpa till this up and plant and harvest and water. And as we go down here, this was what we called the lower shed. Couldn't really do much here. And there's a foundation right there, and we have been offered this shed if we want it. I thought it would be nice to get it and fix it up to store the square bales in, but I'm not so sure if I'm going to be able to get in here and get it before somebody buys this place, just because it is so wet, and the yard down here was not as maintained as the upper yard. She needs some help. That is to say the least. There is still some stuff in here that wasn't worth anything. But all the outer stuff needs replaced, the siding, and then some of the flooring as well. The roof is still good. The roof is still in decent shape. But whether or not it's worth all the work it's going to take for me to move it myself, I don't know. And I'm not sure if it's worth the expense of having somebody move it, because it's going to cost a minimum of $500 just to have somebody come haul this up out of here. And I'm sure if it's muddy and they got to fight all these trees and other things to get out of here, it's going to be even more expensive. But going up the side of the house there in the garage on the driveway side is not horrible until you get up there by the driveway. And then there's just not much traction. But all this here used to be cut out, kept maintained. I said this used to be a whole different lot over here. That is where me and my parents lived for a long time. And then I was in the process of buying the house from my grandparents. And we were going to fix it up and sell it so we could have a bigger place. But this is the lower garden area. It used to be all the way across here. Granddad had this disked after they bought it, and it used to be from roughly right in here all the way over to just this side of where that tree is down right there, and it came all the way up to right in here, and then this kind of does a stair step. There's a kind of a stair step here, a stair step there, and then another one up there by that shed there. But this is where Granddad done his corn. We planted beets down here, and there was some other experimental stuff that they just never panned out. So Granddad quit planting it. But up here on these here were supposed to be apple trees, and that is not what they turned out to be. There was an elderly neighbor over there that had passed away many years ago. And I think his wife is still in a nursing home, or maybe she has passed. I'm not 100% sure, because it's been several years since I've known anything, and my grandma used to keep up with that. But they were very nice folks. They were the kind you would expect to find out in the country, with a small farm or something. Just wonderful people. But he thought these were apples, and Granddad got some starters, and that is not what they are. Over in here, Grandpa had asparagus growing. He planted asparagus in there. And they also had, was it winter onions or garlic? It was one of those two that grew down in here. Now these three trees here behind me, this one here, I guess that's a tree. And that one right there are all apple trees. It used to aggravate Granddad because he never could get out here and treat the trees like he wanted to. And either the deer would get them or they would go bad before he could come out here and do anything with them. That, and they just filled up with those ridiculous worms. And then up here above, they used to have a couple of peach trees. One of them ended up having to be cut down, but the other one is still there. Let me get up here. This one right here is a peach tree, and it produced every year. The other one, I'm trying to remember, I think it was closer to me. As a matter of fact, I think right there is the remnants of the stump. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, they had fruit trees. Grandma loved her flowers and her bushes. These are what we call naked ladies. They stand up real tall, nothing on the stem, beautiful flowers. That was just another flowering bush. I don't know the names of them all. This was like a lilac or something. It was just massive, but it flowered big flowers on it. And then this one had flowers on it. But I know, I want to say this one here maybe. I'm thinking one of these three right here was those big snowball type flowers. I know up here in the front, Grandma had one on each side of the sidewalk. Those big, white, fluffy, they're almost the size of a softball. And then she had these here. Some of these are Rose of Sharon, like this right here. They used to be all down through here, and we pulled them all out. And this here was the flower garden that Grandpa built for Grandma and all her flowers. There was all kinds of flowers in here. I mean, you name it. And she got it, and Grandpa planted it. There's some coming up now. Some of the irises are starting to come up out of there. There's no telling what else will come out. I know some of the family is waiting until this time of year when they started popping out of the ground. Here's some of the, I believe those are the Easter lilies that are coming out right here. A bunch of them. There was a lot of those. They actually used to line the sidewalk here on both sides as well. Grandma had big, beautiful pink climbing roses on both sides of the porch here. There used to be a room built in there. Grandpa built another, kind of like an outside closet. So they would bring their winter clothes out here and put their summer clothes in the house in the closet, and then vice versa when the seasons changed. And then Grandma had some flowers kind of over there in that little corner, and in that bucket, it's behind that tree. And then right out here in a couple big concrete circle things, Grandma had the hens and chicks that grew out. And then she had some flowering bushes right here that have been smashed down and other things through people moving things out and all that. But they would flower out as well. This guy here, Grandpa would have cut out, and he tried to keep that thing from coming in and growing. But this was Grandma and Grandpa's place, and this may or may not be the last time that we get to come here. If things would have worked out where I could have bought it, I would have, being Grandma and Grandpa's place. But it is what it is. I guess it's time to say goodbye. But what we are doing here is we are cleaning up a little bit of scrap. We're getting a little bit of lumber that we can use at the house for right now to patch up some holes in the ceilings and the walls where all that damage was done. And then I have a trailer full of these windows. It goes all the way to the front up there. You can't see the shorter ones, those are just the taller ones. I'll go up here and show you what we have in there. So these are the shorter ones. If you can see, they're short and tall. They're not any wider than each other, just one is taller than the other. But we are from the front to almost to the back. I am going to see if I can use a set of those in our living room where the windows are missing. But Granddad planned on making a greenhouse out of those windows. That's why he got them. They came out of the old housing authority when they remodeled everything. And Grandpa was a hoarder in a lot of ways, but most of what he had was the typical stuff you find. You find scrap wood, you find nuts and bolts and washers, and a lot of this has been gone through. It was never in a pile like that. Grandpa built wood racks. All this was neatly stacked together in a big block. He was very organized with his stuff for the most part. His shed, now that was a different story. That was everything was jam packed in there, but he knew exactly where everything was, and if he didn't, it didn't take him but a few minutes to find it. But a lot of this was thrown out of the garage here. A lot of lumber. And that looks like one of the pieces there that he had made Christmas decorations out of. He made a nativity scene. In fact, that is one of the animals we're looking at right here, is the camel, I believe. It's kind of a shame that nobody kept that, or Grandma's old sewing box. It's right there is my grandma's old sewing box. I think I would have kept it and seen what I could do with it. But I wasn't here, I didn't see it, I didn't see the condition it's in, and obviously it's not in much of a condition now. But that's what we're here doing. We're hoping to get it cleaned up because somebody wants to buy it, but they don't want to buy the junk that was left with it. So they've already practically cleaned everything out of the house. There's still a lot of stuff in there, but yep, I spend a lot of time at this place, and it's sad to see it go. But hopefully somebody can do something with it and make it a beautiful, usable place again. This place has been set for 4 years, probably 4 or 5 years, with nobody in it. Because after Grandma passed away, Grandpa couldn't handle living here without her, and went to live with family. And this was their bedroom, and that in there that you're seeing in there through the door where that other window is, that was the living room. And there used to be an air conditioner in this window, and they had an electric furnace that they heated the house with. That was the living room into the dining room. The kitchen stretches the whole back of the house, and then just on the other side of this partial wall is another doorway into the bathroom. Just a little one bedroom, but it served them well. And but it's time for it to go to somebody else, and unfortunately it's not been maintained. And I don't know if you can quite see in there, but that's the bathroom straight ahead there. We just came from over there. There's a glare on the window, obviously. But the stairs into the back door have collapsed, and they're not good anymore. I actually had to help Grandpa because these two rooms here, this is the kitchen on the back of the house, it's an addition, and they were separating. And we had to climb under there. We put big eye bolts in there. I believe they're still there. Yep. We put a big bolt in with a come along under there. We jacked it up, come along, jacked it up, come along, to get it to go back as close together as we could. And then in the crawl space under here is where they stored a lot of their canned goods that they couldn't store in the house. And they had jars and jars and jars of it, because Grandma made salsa, she made pickles, She canned green beans. That was the other thing that was up here. Green beans. I don't think they ever grew peas. Grandma didn't really like doing that. It was a lot of work to harvest them and then have to either can them the way they were, or there was a process to it, and Grandma just didn't ever want to do it. But Grandma was a canner. During the Christmas time, you would get a lot of salsa and dinner rolls, and they made candy, and Grandma always dreamed of having a little farm of her own with some chickens. She wanted chickens, and she wanted pigs and a milk cow, and Grandpa would always say, "Yep, and who's going to take care of it all?" He always loved her enthusiasm, and they loved each other for many, 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 many years. By now, I believe they would have been married for over 60 years. He always fussed every time she got more flowers, but he would come out here and he'd plant them. And she'd come out when she could and help water them and things. But that was mainly on Grandpa. He trimmed the bushes and fertilized and planted. And now Grandma would she would come down and monitor us. She would pick the seeds, and she would sit in a chair there, and she would pick out the seeds, and or we'd bring down flats that they started in the house, and she would get the plants out and hand them to us as we went down each row. And then Grandpa would come down and water them every morning, every night. And then when it came to harvest time, Grandma would come down, and she wouldn't really help harvest a whole lot. But when I was younger, she would sit right here in a chair, and she would guide me on what to pick and what to leave, and what needed a little bit more time. And of course, when Grandpa got home, he would come down and help as well. Grandpa worked. That man retired, I think, 3 times that I know of, but kept on working. He always had a job. I don't know how he ever done it. And I wish he could have really enjoyed his retirement. He had so many plans, but that's not the world we live in. This country doesn't care about anybody. We're all just a number, and we're here until our number's up. But they did their best with this, and they did well. Grandpa completely redone this whole entire house. He completely gutted the entire inside of this house. Brand new wiring, plumbing, flooring. I know the roof was redone twice that I know of in my lifetime. He was always underneath it, re-leveling it, and keeping it where it's supposed to be. But I'm gonna let you guys go. That's a little trip down memory lane. We're gonna get what we came to get and get out of here. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because we will be back at the house, and I will show you the progress that we did get done, because we've gotten some cleanup done, and we will continue to work on that. So stay tuned. We'll be back with you. Have a blessed day.